Quick ass story, okay? I'm not going to be yapping with y'all all day. I'm just not going to do it. But happy Monday. I hope you're all well. And for those of you with advanced personality disorders, I hope that you're able to find the treatment that you need. Okay? And I think I'm going to say that on the way out as like a little ending salutation. You know. But anyway, salutations, bitches. But let me just say this. Uh don't try this shit. Like don't try what please don't be stupid. That's really all you gotta do in life. I'm finna fuck this Rice Krispie treat the fuck up. I ain't had sugar because I have to listen. I'm about to fuck this Rice Krispie. I might eat it. I might smack on it. Listen, it is what it is. But please, just all you gotta do is not be stupid in life. And really, that's really it. That's really all you gotta do. Leave shit to the for real. Like I'm being also for real. Like don't be a dumbass. Okay? But since we on manic, we having a manic Monday, on a manic moon Monday, and there's some real moon signs that are out here experiencing. I thought we'd just come in here and talk about some maniacal ass shit. So listen, baby, I scammed my way into reading tarot. Bitch, the fuck is you talking about? Okay? What they say about Gemini is true. Okay? Because whatever is our sign, I guess you can say vetted, but in this case we're gonna reference Western astrology. Whatever they say about Gemini is true, bitch. Mm. We'll try a little something here and there. We'll do a little 1-2 here or there and see what it's hidden for. Okay? But one thing I do not like to gamble. I do not really I like casinos. I'm gonna tell you what I like. I like Las Vegas casinos for some fly ass shit. Okay? I like fly shit. Okay? I might be an introvert. Okay? But if you ask me what would you do, Nala, okay? Or if you know me personally, Stephanie. My name is Stephanie. What would you do if you could like have, in Las Vegas, would you go? No, bitch, I'm gonna do some fly shit. I want I want the room from Hangover. And I might do some questionable, you know, let's not even continue moving. Let's just move why am I here? Okay, I'm here to talk about how I scam my way into tarot. Okay, so I'm gonna say this here. I truly believe that certain things are premonitions that you get, but I scammed my way into tarot through playing spades. Okay, I scammed my way into tarot through playing spades. I don't think there's anyone who's listening in life right now that would ever play spades, right? But I scammed my way into tarot playing spades. And let me give you a quick backstory. This is gonna sound fucked up, but just flow with my ass, okay? You know I'm aimlessly accurate. I'm accidentally brilliant. Okay? So please let me as an artist leave me to my process and just flow with me for a moment. Take a walk with me, okay? Let's take a long walk around the block after dark. Find a Bitch, whatever. Did y'all check her new album out? Like, you need to get with the time. You really do. You need to catch up on things that's going on. That's what I'm saying. But nonetheless, how I essentially ended up scamming was I had a dream, and this is gonna sound morbid, and I've talked about this, but not from this perspective about my aunt. As you know, my aunt passed from advanced HIV, not HIV, it turns into AIDS. And we didn't know for 12 years from what we believe or she believed is when she contracted it. However, that's not where the story starts. It actually starts before then. I would have premonition dreams as a little girl. Okay. And before I even really tapped into anything, I had this one dream, and this is how I knew. My mom also knew that her sister, this would be her baby sister by 1 year, would pass without knowing. We both got our own understanding. And I'm going to tell you a story about SU or Papa Legba. I can't decide, or if this is Baron Samedi. I'll tell you that too. Because I do know with Baron Samedi, some depictions of Baron Samedi with a black cock or rooster. And he has a playing card in his hat with a feather, a rooster feather. So where was I? Okay. So I had this dream. And in this dream, as a little girl, I think I couldn't have been more than maybe 4 or 5. Just had, I loved playing cards, but this is before I even knew what to do with them. I just liked playing with them. But I had this dream, and each of the court cards, follow me here, each of the court cards, I'm shaking right now, represented a member of my family. Each of the court cards. And the first card to turn over was the card that represented my aunt. And I bullshit you not. The sequence of each card damn near predicted each subsequent death. Respectfully, the other two, really three, but Theo's not counting this, were really older age. They had their life, but it was freaky because I held her so close, like I was close to her, but I was really, really, really concerned, and that's kind of heavy for a 4 or 5 year old girl to take that position. And so many years later, a couple of weeks after my 13th, the significant number is 13, she passed from a damn infection. That's how bad HIV, when it turns into AIDS, is that a minor infection like pancreatitis can take you on up out of here. Okay? She went into organ failure. So I remember being there before she took her last breath. It's crazy. And out of the whole day, it was gloomy. But right before she took her last breath, a sunbeam, she's a Leo, by the way, made it through the window in the hospital room and shined on her. And I had a dream that night where she told me, I will never leave you. Now, I haven't dreamed about my auntie ever since then. I had a dream about my grandmother's sister after she passed. When she passed, Al Green presided over her funeral. From Memphis, right? He's a pastor. So y'all do know Lori Harvey is my cousin because her daddy is a drug. We'll talk about it another day. How about that? So let's get into how I started. So I love playing cards so much that that was the first time that I associated court cards. And just for those who are not very familiar, I'm sure you should be familiar by now. Jack, Queen, King, and then Joker. That was the first time I took what would in the tarot deck would be cards and associated them with people. Okay? And didn't even know. I was naturally listen. It the shit came. I promise you, it came like like my life was written like a fucking script. Okay, thing feels like a script, and I swear to God, I'm not writing this. I'm who listen. I don't have the pen. It literally down to before my aunt died when we found out she was sick, we went to Midtown, Overton Square, I believe, is a space in Memphis, in Midtown. I love Midtown. If I ever move back to Memphis, I definitely got to. I love Midtown. That was my favorite. It's the most greenish, lush. It had flowers, it had gardens, and it also had the Memphis Zoo there. That was my favorite fucking part of Memphis. Was this beautiful, clean green, had flowers every spring because you know Memphis rains. It's gorgeous. Had these big fucking trees. I love that shit. Green flowers, clean, a lot of sunlight, very like you know what I'm saying. I love that kind of stuff. But anyway, and the houses would grow on the side of them, and some were made from like that Mexican clay, and some were made. They were beautiful. Just listen, listen. If you ever want to, I'll be what is his name? The guy from that sings Ring of Fire, Johnny Cash, home, I believe, in Midtown. Just to kind of give you an idea, give you a little bit of understanding in Memphis. But anyhow, I even before my aunt died, I was intrigued by some crystal, and I begged my mom to come with me. And when we went to the store, she brought me back there. But I saw these cards in the window, and that was it. I had to I studied everything I could cards. Now mind you, I was introduced into astrology from my grandfather with his farmer's almanac, but my auntie also followed the horoscope. She wasn't an astrologer. She just did the basic stuff we all do, but she always looked at the commercial appeal, which is a paper in Memphis, for the astrology section. So when I tell you my shit is like there's so much significance as to what it is that I do now that's rooted into my childhood is unbelievable. And I have you got to think the IC, your IC in your birth chart represents your childhood or your home or your roots, and that is in Leo for me. So at home, my childhood would have this Leo-esque sheen to it. It would have this there were issues, okay? Leo can be very dramatic, but there was also the things that I loved. There was this inordinate amount of creativity that I ascribed to these things from my childhood. Okay? So even down to child anyhow, I'll get into that later. I don't want to because I'll yap all fucking night. So the car. So I knew then that I didn't know that I would be doing this, but I knew I wanted to get a deck of cards. That's when Charmed was out. You got to remember, Charmed was out, honey. Everybody was witchy poo. Everybody was witchy poo in the 90s. Okay, so I was like, I got to get my hands. No, I didn't want to do anything else but have my chemistry, my microscope, and my fucking tarot cards. I wanted to fuck shit up. And also I was a little bit of a pyromaniac as a kid. You know, I think I've grew out I think I've grew out of that shit a little bit. I'm not gonna even fuck listen, listen. I almost set the house on fire with some sprinklers. And I really it was very innocent, okay? But we did as kids set the neighbors dry ass yard on fire across the street. I think it was a Roman candle. But anyway, well, I wasn't it didn't get too crazy or whatever. But that's yeah. Then I had the little situation where I mixed the wrong elements in my chemistry set. And after that, my mom said, okay, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Okay? I was always trying to do some shit, okay? Anyway, let's neither go there, okay? So I used to play like I was making potions. Listen, this shit's crazy. So, scamming. I learned how to play spades from old heads. When I say old heads, these are the kind of people that live in the projects but they house clean. And you'll walk into somebody's house in the suburbs and they house nasty as shit. It smell like dog and ass. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, they drive nice cars, upper middle class. But these people in the projects, my auntie would mop twice a day, would not have a dish in the sink before she went to bed, and clean that house from top to bottom. And as for the girls, and taught me that, you know, when a woman was around her cycle, you hand wash your underwear. These things are relics, if you will. Okay? But this is the same person that told me to put a little cap full of bleach in my bath water. And to run some over my feet. I ain't never had a toe fungus. I got some callus. I get to that. But I ain't never had no problems. Okay? Don't listen to me, don't follow what I'm saying. Okay? I'm not giving advice about this shit. And definitely don't follow the tricks or shit. But anyway, so I learned from old heads that talked about the Bible at 3:30 in the morning. Drunk as shit. Huh? That you know what I'm saying? That after I had cousins, I learned from people who Junior was coming in from a crack binge and was one of my favorite cousins. The fuck is you talking about? And these folks damn near get to fighting over talking about the Bible and the perspective. I didn't learn like the regular people learned by going to church. We went to church, we were Kojic. I learned from drunk people. And what I also know is that drunk people don't tell lies. They would get to crying because they would get so fucking moved. These motherfuckers hell on wheels now, but they got their Bible right there, and they would be so moved by what they were, you know, and as a child, I'm sitting there listening. I'm a Capricorn child, so I'm born 85 years old. By the time I got Benjamin Button disease, you know what I'm saying? So, okay, so I'm sitting here watching them, and that's how I learned how to play spades. And so I may not look like I can play spades, but you would get your ass, baby. Don't come around that fucking corner. You hear me? You better not fucking play around, because baby, when I tell you these are 70, I'm 7, 8, 9, 10 years old watching 60 and 70-year-olds play spades, and I'm in a child's place, not acting like I'm grown, because I didn't have shit of value to say. I was safe. It would have been beneficial for me to shut the fuck up and stop acting like I had something in common with people who I could learn so much about life from, and avoid making the same mistakes that they did. I wasn't raised to, you know, fortunately, I'm going to say this fortunately, because I do believe some people are raised where their opinions have never been taken into consideration. And so it spills over into their adulthood. But I didn't have that relationship with elders. Elders love me. Okay? Elders always spoke highly of me. Elders kept me out of trouble. You know, so I always had a very positive relationship with those people who were older than me. I didn't feel disappointed or neglected by those people. So I don't have the same relationship as some people have, people who are older than them, where they are not able to learn and grow in life and making strides in life because they are limited to the lack of abilities that they have. And because they have such a traumatic experience with elders, and that's really terrible, they don't make any traction in life. They don't do anything of significance other than keep a lot of drama going on. But I don't have that experience. So, getting back to the story, as I started learning how to play spades, I got good at it. I wasn't as good at playing dominoes, but spades, that's my game. Okay? And blackjack 21. We'll get into that shit in just a moment, okay? It's not technically for me counting cards, okay? But okay, it's really divination. I'm not saying that I can't get something wrong. I'm just saying that my experience dictates that I was right more than I was wrong. I think that's significant to this story. As I started getting good with the cards, I always held that frame in mind about the dream that I had about my aunt, my grandfather, my grandmother, my mother, like all being court cards, right? So I would start finding that my hands had correlations when I would play spades, that I was able to I guess this is the beginning of me using cards to do divination, because I could read based on what cards I had and the body language of my partner and the body language of the two people. So I don't know if that's scammy, but it can be a little scammy, right? It could be a little bit like scam artists. I would read quietly. That's what gets people. I like to be underestimated. That's my favorite thing. Okay? It's the simplest, most it's the simplest thing that people miss. Like, it is a war strategy that wins more than it loses. And that is to play to the tune of being incapable. Letting people believe they won something is great. It really is. I am like Muhammad Ali personally, who says you never underestimate your opponent. I treat a small threat as critically as I treat a large threat, because both can be just as devastating. Okay? So I would read the body language of people, and I didn't know that that was fucking telepathy. I was just looking at their faces. I would, and look down at my cards without. And listen, I have resting bitch face. I'm a Capricorn with a Taurus moon and a smart mouth ass Gemini rising. I'm serving cuntiness with these high charms and these lips. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I have resting bitch face, and I like to wear um, visors. I like the card visors. I like to wear a hat when I'm playing bitch. Anyway, um, so I'm not giving anything away about what's going on with me, but I'm reading the whole situation. And you got to understand that maybe I'm doing that too, because I'm finding as I get older, I'm playing spades in places where everyone cool, they know me, but we in the hood, so you got to have situational awareness. So I'm paying attention to the game, but I'm also paying attention to who the fuck coming up and through here? Who that out there beating the fucking block down? Who is that? Who boyfriend is that? It's just I'm not special. I think that's just what I think, that's nurture. You know what I'm saying? To pay attention to what's around you. So when I see people who have zero survival skills barking on the internet, it's crazy to me. I'm like, damn, how you from the hood and stupid at the same time? That shit crazy. Anyway, that's just crazy. Like, if you from poverty, you need to be smart too. And like, don't be smart on dumb shit, because that's still technically stupid. Like if you go to jail and you're a criminal, you are a bad criminal. Like what the fuck is the point of being a criminal if you're gonna get caught? Like you're a dumbass. That's how I feel. So there's just don't do criminal shit. If you can't at least have a 50-50 or a 30-70 chance, at least let it have been, a penitentiary game that you had a game of chance that you didn't have no other choice. And nobody can really blame you, but you going out of your way to do a stupid thing and get caught. I mean, I don't have that much sympathy for a dumbass person like that. But anyhow, I mean, just trying to be a part of some shit. Go sit your stupid ass down somewhere. That's how I be feeling about it, right? Anyhow, let me get back to what the fuck I'm saying. So, okay, what I would start noticing is that I was able to read people, and I'd never learned how to play poker. And so I'm not a threat to any casino. So for the CIA and FBI, if you're watching or listening, I'm not a threat, okay? I don't think I am at least. Anyway, so yeah, the cards, right? So the cards. So I would depending on how the cards were dealt to me, okay? Whatever I had to the right of me would represent what was coming around the corner from my vantage point. That's how. And I'm not gonna give you. I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna give you the code. Then listen, you got to come up with your own shit. And whatever was at the left of me was like a reading as to what the fuck was going on with the person that came after me, who I was around the corner of. And whatever I had bridged in the middle was like a view. It was like I didn't realize that was the beginning of divination. And I wasn't even the one who, I mean, of course I would deal the cards, but the cards were being dealt to me as life does. We sometimes don't deal our own cards, but the higher you go up in awareness, not to go and do spell work against people, not to do fifth dimensional magic, fucking with people because you want to be a big dog and fuck with their karma and all that old stupid ass shit. Criminal shit, okay? But the more you become more aware, you realize that you probably did deal yourself the cards in your lifetime. Okay? But that takes a lot of healing, a lot of awareness, and a lot of growth and maturity. And to be quite honest with you, the spiritual journeys start from people fucking up in life. Or they can start from people having an unquenchable question, or they can start from near-death experiences, or people fucking up in life, okay? And somehow even that fuck up in life was planned perfectly to happen exactly when it did, how it did. So, okay? So, I didn't realize that was the beginning of my divination system. Even down to the king and queens, how they were positioned. Let me know which, I would say this, would give me a sequence of numbers that would give me an idea of who's the dominant player on the team. Okay? And with that information, I was able to play. And I'm going to just say this here. That's kind of scammy. Because I had hands that I should have never been able to fucking win. I had some shitty hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, the shit I was able to pull out my head like a rabbit, out my head like a magic trick. I had like, them motherfuckers would be fundled and be like, My partner would make 4 books, solid books, and I would make 5 books, and you see my hand and be like, and we have to open the cards up to look at the pattern in which we were all, lay our cards, and they said, wait a minute, how the fuck did y'all do that? Of course, you have to make a bid, right? But I would be given the shittiest of hands and still bust a nigga head wide open. And you still can't come across this corner. Type shit. Okay? That's how it's been. It ain't always been like that. But every time it's not always been like that, I reinforce my Fort Knox, if you will, of my aura so that I can be peaceful and serene in the middle of a battlefield. I don't feel like you're good unless you can be the most awful opponent and you're in peace. That means if you get killed, you're in peace. As you kill, you're in peace. I believe that that is a great strategy. Is to be able to obtain peace in the middle of a storm. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, I don't do that shit now. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. Because I really, people put money on those hands. I really, that shit could have been a close call. But see, the way I am, I don't know. I just never leaned into that's a close call now that I think about it. As I'm recalling, I'm like, that was kind of stupid. Because no one could prove it at that time. But bitch, I was running your old man's pockets. I just wasn't getting no ass up. If he's a gambling man, we can do something. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the only one. There's a person who knows how to, they believe that they have an effect on gravity. So when they throw dice, they can make the dice move a certain kind of way. There are some people who believe that they have the ability to play roulette and get a certain type of outcome. You know? There's some people who use their playing cards like tarot cards, and they play Blackjack 21. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, that's how I scammed my way into tarot. I just thought, I told you it was going to be a quick story. I wasn't going to go too much into it. I told you it was going to be a real quick story. Okay? But yeah, it was through busting niggas' heads with spades. You know? Just saying. Y'all have a good one.